the network, we are the key, we are the trust the world was waiting to see. Identity rises, authentic and free. Welcome to the world of ENTIFY.
Hi there, and welcome back to Founders Journal. My name is Toby, and I'm the founder of ENTIFY. And today I want to keep talking about the reality of creating a private digital identity. ENTIFY is really a digital identity firewall, a protection for it. So how far can we take this in reality? So this is really a reality check now. I've talked about it in the last two videos, the complex structure of a legal and lawful framework. But in the real world, how is this going to work? So I've gone through it with ChatGPT. I'm working with AI on a lot of this, using it as a soundboard to work out what is really possible or not. So I've got some results now. But what we got to do, there's got to be really a four-layer service that ENTIFY can provide for you. You see, the very first layer is simple. That's just creating your identity and protecting it. So this will be your lawful affidavit, your statement of life. That's it, nothing else. And that will create your identity on the ENTIFY app. So when you have this identity, that's good enough. Now you can have the private, decentralised chat. You can have private communication. That's the first thing. And I think that ought to be free. You download the app, create your identity. This will be done on a Solana wallet. And then you've got access to this free, decentralised private chat. And the mesh network. When the mesh network is ready, you can access that. And you can already do a lot. You will be able to prove your identity in certain cases without revealing anything. Again, it will have to be certain websites that accept it, for example. But there's no reason they shouldn't. We could do a lot with that. And in fact, that is the foundational layer. That is the true sovereign layer. And really, that's all we need. In the end, that will be it. Everything else falls away, and all we use is this foundational, lawful affidavit identity for everything. And the network builds up around that. But to integrate with the real world, we have to integrate with the government, the KYC, the identity they have for us. So how do we do that? Well, so tier one, level one is you get the ENTIFY app, create your affidavit identity, your biometrics, your signature. Now you can access the chat. Level two, now on the ENTIFY app, if you want to have private banking. So now we can offer private banking. So this is like the opposite of what's out there. See, out there now, you can have a private crypto account. You can have a crypto wallet in private and have some crypto. But if you want a bank account, you need a banking app. Now, that's not private. So usually people will have either a private crypto and a public bank account, or they just have a sort of public bank account, and that has some crypto in it. So we're flipping it around. Now we can have a private crypto account, completely private, but inside that you have a bank account also, fiat currency, connected to a real bank. But it's inside the crypto wallet. It's the opposite. So if you want to have access to the private banking app, now you have to go to the next level. Inside your identity vault, you must put in your KYC. That is the government identity required for banking. But remember, it will be completely private, invisible to the bank. It's locked away in your identity vault. But you must put it in there. So when you put it in there, now that activates your connection to IPC company, and IPC Limited, remember I've talked about this, is the public company that has the bank account. So now you have that as your interface to the bank, and that can go into your private crypto wallet. So it goes all the way down, and now you've got a bank account. So that's the next level, level 3, private banking. And then you can have level 4. So level 4 will be, now private banking, level 2 is private banking. So level 1 is just your identity and private chat. Level 2 is private banking. But private banking, there must be a subscription because we have to pay the bank. So that cannot be free, but as cheap as possible. Then level 3 is the next level. So this will be a deeper service, a higher level subscription. But for level 3, you can have legal protection. So for that, now you have to authorize the allodial reserve private trust to administer your own personal private trust. So remember, your private trust is created before level 2. For private banking, you have to create your private trust and connect it to IPC. Level 3, you have to fully authorize your private trust to administer you have to fully authorize a allodial trust to fully administer your private trust. Now you can have a proxy address. All correspondence will go to IPC Limited before you. So now you've got a full proxy name, proxy address for all correspondence. And you can do a lot more with that. So that's layer 3. And then you can have layer 4, which is now pretty much full anonymity. You can now use IPC Limited and the allodial reserve private trust to pretty much administer all your interactions with the government. So going as far as driver's license, passports. So this again is a much higher level subscription. This is now a very personal service, but ENTIFY could still provide it because ENTIFY is the technology, the cryptography, but now we need a corporation, a private trust, a legal team, a financial team to administer all that. So now this is a service that is being provided. But that you may or may not need it. So only certain people will need that. Lots of people who want absolute privacy, entrepreneurs who need to keep everything they're doing secret, even activists who've got to keep themselves protected. They're legitimate people that need to interact, but must have total anonymity. So that is a service that we could provide for them. So we've got these 4-layer services. One is you just create your affidavit and you can have free communication. 2, you have to add your KYC. Now you can have private banking. 3, you must fully authorize the allodial reserve trust to administer your affairs. Then you can have a proxy address and a buffer for all legal interactions. And then number 4, you take it to the next level. You fully authorize IPC Limited as a legal team to protect you. But the whole thing is run still on this decentralized technology. So all of it is anonymous. You see, the legal team that protects you still don't know who you are. It's all done through the private communication layer. It's ever so clever. And it's opening up. This is what the super rich people have. This is how they do it. So you don't have to be a billionaire to have all this structure behind you, a legal team, a financial team, a private trust. No, we do it all through a decentralized way. Now we can all have it for a very reasonable subscription because it's all done through the decentralized communication layer. Anonymous. And ultimately it's done through your trust name. Again, a proxy name. So your avatar on ENTIFY will be your trust name, not necessarily your real name. You can choose what you want. So there's so much we could do with this. And this, I think, is the most realistic thing. And now to create a passport and a license, that's difficult because they still need your face. The government must have your face. But, for example, a driver's license, you can most certainly have the proxy address. You can still have IPC Limited as your proxy address on your driver's license. So they will represent you. All correspondence goes to them. Even probably your passport, you can have the proxy address. Now, but on the driver's license, okay, You need your face, but you can still have a proxy name on a driver's license. It is proven. There are several cases that it happens. Now, the most obvious one is in witness protection programs. If you've got a witness that needs to be anonymous, secret, sometimes the government will issue them a driver's license with a proxy name. It means it can be done. And there are other cases that have been done where a driver's license can have a proxy name. So I think we could still find a way that we could have a private proxy name and, of course, the proxy address on a driver's license. That's something we could do. Again, a lot more work to work this out. A passport, maybe not. But a passport doesn't matter, because when do you need your passport? You never use it. Only in travel. So your passport is locked away digitally in the ENTIFY identity vault. Now remember, we've got a paper passport now, but soon it will be digital. And there will be a way that we can correspond with the government so that the government accepts it, because the government must have their process of creating the digital passport. And if we say to them, yes, we will follow the exact steps of the creation of the passport, but it will go into our identity vault, and then yes, we will provide direct proof to you that it was done correctly, then the government should accept it. So then we will have our passport, the government ID passport, but locked away in private. And that means when we have to go travelling, we just touch our ENTIphone, or maybe in this case our ENTIcard. You touch it to their government interface. They do not see your passport, but they get the acknowledgement that yes, it exists. And it means if you go to another country, it means when you touch your passport to another country, they won't see it, but they will see, yes, you have got a, British passport or a German passport. Touch it, yes, you've got a German passport. But they don't know your name, anything about it, but they know, yes, it is valid and there's no issues with it. So that, I think, is not too far off. Such a thing we could do. And we can, of course, issue our own passport. Now, that's a big deal, because in order to issue our own passport, we can issue identity documents. We can create a lot of stuff with the identity vault that nearly does everything we need and is still anonymous, but not quite a driver's license and not quite a passport. However, to create a passport, the way we could do it is we have to become a micro state, a micro nation. Then we could do it. And there are examples of this. For example, Liberland. Again, they're one of the team members works with Liberland. This is a micro nation. They've got their own country, so they create their own government and their own passport. But now what they're doing is going around the world. They have to get other states to recognise them as a state, and then their passport will work. So we could do that, become a micronation, but we have no government because we're a blockchain. However, it's so political, and I don't think we really want to get involved with politics. There's no need. So that's what in theory, that's what we could do. And there are other examples. Liberland is one. There's another one, Sealand. So there's lots of examples of micro-states that have managed to do this to some degree. And whether we could create a diplomatic passport, again, not quite. But we could create diplomatic credentials that work within a certain framework. So in time, we could have our own sovereign airports, our own sovereign transport, and our own sovereign identity that allows us to travel that way. And the rest of the world would have to accept it, because we could demonstrate that the identification process is perfectly valid. So it's a bit like a micro-state, but it's not a micro-state. It's just a perfect evidence that what we're doing is authentic. So such a thing also could be possible, but would take a long time. We have to have our own airports. So for now, I think that the realistic thing is your passport gets locked away and no one can ever access it online. So at least it's safe. At least it's safe, but it's still your government issued passport. And of course, the end result will be a single digital ID for everything. Now, what do you do with that? Well, that's the same principle. We have to have a method of acknowledging with the state that, yes, we're doing what you want, but we are applying the KYC in the exact way that you want us to, but instead of giving it to you, we're locking it into our identity vault, and then all we do is show you the proof that it exists, but we don't show you what it is. And in theory, they should not be able to complain because we've fulfilled what they want. And if they argue, well, we must be able to see it, well, no, you can't argue that because we've got the proof. Our proof is perfect. Blockchain verified proof. They can't argue with that. We have to then say, well, why do you need to see it? If you have a valid reason that you need to see our passports, you must have a valid reason that you must have valid legal evidence that we are a criminal so that you can see our passport. Do you have such evidence? No. Therefore, why do you need to see our passport? You don't. All you need is proof that we've got it. Well, we've got it. And I think this is a reality check. This is perfectly possible. So, thank you so much for listening. Again, more updates are going on the website, so keep checking the website. I'm changing it on a daily basis, refining and refining. So soon I'm going to get to a stage where I'm going to reach out to Solana for partnership. And in fact, I already have. Jason, one of the team members, has already passed on a communication to Solana. So I'm still waiting to hear feedback from that. If I can get a meeting with Solana executives, that will get us a long way forward. Because we need Solana. It has to be Solana as the best blockchain available anyway for us. It fits with the cryptography. So Solana is our number one choice. We're going to use it regardless. So it makes sense to reach out to them and see if we can get a strategic partnership, because that would get us going very fast. We could build this thing fast if we had Solana partnership. So let's see. Thank you so much again for listening. Please do leave me any questions, comments or suggestions. Thank you so much again, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Founders Journal.
We are the network, we are the key, we are the trust.